They tell you 1920s Paris was a non-stop glittering bohemian dream. A jazz-soaked paradise, where brilliant artists and writers debated philosophy in warm cafes while sipping absinthe. Sounds impossibly chic, doesn't it? A romantic, sepia-toned fantasy. Well, it is just past midnight in the deep heart of autumn, and a fine, persistent rain is falling from a sky the colour of charcoal and ink. The rain is not cold or harsh, but soft and cleansing. It mists the air and slicks the ancient stones under your feet, making them gleam like polished jet in the weak, fuzzy glow of the gas lamps that line the lane. Each lamp casts a halo of amber light, a small island of warmth in the vast, quiet dark. The sound of the city below is a distant, muffled hum, a sleeping giant's breath, leaving you in a world of your own. The air smells of wet earth, of damp fallen leaves, and the faint, sweet scent of coal smoke curling from a distant chimney. You have been walking for some time. The rhythmic tap of your shoes on the cobblestones, a steady, calming beat. And as you round a gentle bend, your eyes are drawn upward to a slanted garret roof, and in its highest window, a single warm golden light. It is a beacon of tranquility, a promise of shelter from the gentle, persistent rain. You find the entrance in a small, recessed archway, a heavy door of dark, weathered oak. It opens with a soft push, not into a hallway, but onto the bottom of a narrow, winding staircase. As you begin to climb, the wood of the steps creaks gently under your weight, a friendly, familiar sound. The air grows warmer with each step you take, and the distant hum of the city fades completely, replaced by the profound, comforting silence of the old building. The only sound is your own soft tread and the whisper of the rain, now a muted drumming on the roof far above. You reach the top of the stairs and stand before another door, simpler this time, its paint worn smooth around a small brass knob. You turn it, and the latch gives way with a quiet click. You push the door open and step inside, closing it gently behind you. The final sound is the soft, solid thud of the latch settling into its frame, shutting out the night, shutting out the world, leaving you entirely and safely alone. The air that greets you is a warm, complex, and utterly intoxicating wave of fragrance. It is a tapestry woven from 100 different scents. Yet 3 notes rise to greet you first: the deep, velvety sweetness of rose, the creamy, sacred warmth of sandalwood, and the bright, gentle citrus kiss of bergamot. The combination is immediately calming, a scent that speaks of care, of patience, and of quiet creation. The room is bathed in a low golden light, emanating from a single small flame that flickers beneath a magnificent brass apparatus in the center of the room. This is your laboratory. This is your sanctuary. You feel the heavy, soft cotton of a clean white lab coat settle around your shoulders. It is a comforting weight, a uniform of quiet focus. Your eyes adjust to the dim light, and the details of your haven begin to resolve themselves from the shadows. The walls are lined from floor to ceiling with wooden shelves, and on these shelves rests an entire universe of glass. Hundreds upon hundreds of bottles, beakers, flasks, and phials, each one a vessel for a captured essence. Some are made of dark cobalt blue glass, protecting their precious contents from the light. Others are a deep medicinal amber, while many more are crystal clear, allowing the rich colours of the oils within to show through. Hues of pale gold, deep garnet, rich ochre, and verdant green. Each bottle has a small paper label tied around its neck with a piece of twine, the name of the essence written in a neat, looping cursive. The slanted ceiling of the attic gives the room a cosy, enclosed feeling, like being held in a gentle embrace. A large dormer window is set into the roof, its panes streaked with rivulets of rain that catch the distant lamplight from the street below, fracturing it into tiny, shifting diamonds of light. The sound of the rain is clearer here, a soft, percussive drumming on the slate tiles just above your head, a constant soothing rhythm that insulates you from everything else. It is the perfect accompaniment to your work. Your gaze is drawn back to the heart of the room, to the source of the warmth and the gentle bubbling sound that underpins the quiet. It is a large brass alembic still, its copper belly glowing with a warm, rosy light from the small spirit lamp burning steadily beneath it. The still is a beautiful, archaic object, its surface polished to a soft sheen, reflecting the flickering flame in distorted liquid waves. A long swan, and from the very end of the coiled tube, a single clear drop of hydrosol is slowly forming, swelling, and falling with a soft, almost inaudible pat into the flask below. The sound of the simmering liquid is a deep, gentle, continuous purr, a soft fey gurble, gurble, gurble fey, the sound of transformation, of essence being slowly, patiently drawn forth. Tonight, your work is not of distillation, but of composition. You are creating a final accord, a fragrance designed not to be worn, but to be experienced, a scent to quiet the mind and invite the deepest, most restorative sleep. It is worn smooth with time and use, its surface scarred with the faint rings of countless beakers and the ghosts of old spills. It is a surface of history, of dedication. Your first action is to select a vessel for your blend. You run your fingertips along a row of empty glass beakers, feeling the cool, smooth, unyielding surface of the glass. Your fingers brush against them with an infinitesimal lightness, creating the faintest whisper of a sound. You choose a small, conical beaker, perfectly clear, its glass flawless. As you lift it from the shelf, its base makes a soft, resonant fish hey against the wood. You place it in the center of a clean space on your workbench. The sound of the thick glass base meeting the wood is not sharp, but a dull, solid, satisfying fey hump fey next. You select your tool from a velvet-lined wooden box. You lift a long, slender glass pipette. It is exquisitely fragile, a transparent wand with a soft grey rubber bulb at one end. It feels almost weightless in your hand, a tool of absolute precision. You are creating a lullaby in liquid form, and every note must be perfect. Your composition tonight calls for 3 essential oils, a simple but profound trinity of scents. Your eyes scan the amber bottles on the shelf before you. You reach for the first one, damask rose. You hold it up to the light of the spirit lamp, and the oil inside glows like captured sunset, a deep reddish amber. With the thumb and forefinger of your other hand, you grip the ground, glass stopper and twist. It releases with a soft, squeaking sigh, and the air around you immediately thickens, growing heavy with the impossibly rich, honeyed and decadent scent of 1,000 blooming roses. It is the fragrance of pure, unconditional comfort. You dip the tip of your glass pipette into the bottle, and the thick, viscous oil clings to it. You squeeze the rubber bulb gently, and with a soft sigh, the pipette draws the precious amber liquid up into its slender body. You lift it out, a perfect column of rose gold held within the clear glass. You move your hand with immense care, positioning the tip of the pipette directly over the center of the empty beaker. Your breathing is slow and even. Your hand is perfectly steady. You apply the slightest pressure to the bulb. It falls through the short space and lands on the bottom of the beaker, with a sound so quiet it is almost just a feeling, a soft, wet, phatic phaon drop. You pause, watching as it spreads slightly, perfect circle of amber on the clear glass floor. You squeeze again. Another drop forms, hesitates and falls. Phatic fair. Second circle appears. 10 perfect drops of pure rose essence. Each one a bead of liquid peace, falling with a quiet, meditative rhythm into the silent glass. You place the pipette down on a small glass rest, its tip hovering over the edge so it touches nothing. You pick up the glass stopper and fit it back into the rose oil bottle, the ground glass grinding together with a soft, satisfying friction, sealing the fragrance back inside. The soft fake clink, fay of glass gently touching glass, is a tiny, clear bell in the quiet room. Now, for the heart of the fragrance, your eyes find the next bottle, Phasantalum album for sandalwood. This bottle is larger, the oil within a paler, more golden hue. You lift it down. The stopper on this one is cork, and it eases out of the neck with a soft... The scent that escapes is entirely different from the rose. It is deep, creamy and woody, with a hint of sweetness that is almost milky. It smells of ancient forests, of sacred incense, of profound and unshakable calm. It is the scent of grounding, of stability. You pick up a second clean pipette. You repeat the ritual. You dip the tip into the sandalwood oil, squeeze the bulb, and draw the golden liquid up into the glass tube. You bring it over to the beaker, which now holds the 10 small pools of rose oil. You begin to add the sandalwood. 1 drop falls, landing directly into one of the rose-coloured pools. Phatic fayet does not spread in the same way. Instead, it seems to push the rose oil gently outwards, creating a tiny 2-toned jewel on the bottom of the beaker. The woody, creamy scent of the sandalwood begins to weave itself through the floral notes of the rose, not overpowering it, but supporting it, giving it a foundation of warmth and depth. The 2 scents mingle in the air, creating a third, new fragrance that is both familiar and unique, a scent of serene When you are finished, you return the sandalwood oil to its place on the shelf, the soft sound of the bottle settling on the wood, a quiet punctuation mark in the stillness. You set the second pipette beside the first. Only one element remains. You reach for the final bottle. It is smaller, made of a pale green glass, and its label reads Fay Citrus Bergamia, Fay Bergamot. You unscrew its small black cap, and a bright, uplifting fragrance immediately fizzes into the air. It is the scent that will lift the blend, preventing it from becoming too heavy. A final touch of light to illuminate the path to sleep. With a third clean pipette, you draw up the pale, almost colourless bergamot oil. It is much less viscous than the others. Quicker to move, you hold it over the beaker, where the rose and sandalwood now sit in a beautiful mottled pattern of amber and gold. You add the bergamot, drop by drop, tick, tick. As you add it, the bright citrus scent weaves through the rose and sandalwood, not as a separate note, but as a highlight, an effervescent shimmer that makes the other 2 scents feel rounder, more complete. It is the final piece of the puzzle. The olfactory chord is now complete. You place the last pipette on its rest and seal the bottle of bergamot, returning it to the shelf. Your work of composition is done. Now, you reach out and take the beaker in your hand. The glass is cool to the touch, and you can feel the slight, satisfying weight of the oils inside. You lift it from the workbench, holding it up to the warm light from the distiller's flame. You begin to swirl the beaker in a slow, gentle, circular motion. First, the separate pools of oil resist, sliding over one another. But as you continue the slow, rhythmic rotation, they begin to merge. The deep amber of the rose, the pale gold of the sandalwood, and the clear brightness of the bergamot begin to blend and fold into one another. You watch, mesmerized, as the colors swirl into a vortex, a tiny galaxy of scent. The only sound is the faintest whisper of the liquid moving against the glass walls of the beaker. A soft swish, swish, swish. Asterisk, it is a sound that blends perfectly with the steady, gentle drumming of the rain on the roof and the slow, rhythmic gurble. Gurble of the still. The colors are now almost fully blended, creating a single, uniform liquid, the color of warm, clear honey, glowing in the soft light. You slow your swirling, letting the vortex calm until the liquid settles into a still, silent pool. The fragrance that now rises from the beaker is the final, unified creation. It is the scent of deep, untroubled slumber. The initial brightness of the bergamot has softened, now serving as a gentle welcome. The heart of the scent is the rose, but it is a rose wrapped in the softest cashmere blanket of sandalwood. It is warm and deep and profoundly reassuring. Your focus, once narrowed to the point of a pipette, now expands to encompass the entire sanctuary around you. The descending arc of your evening has reached its point of rest. Your breathing, which had been slow and steady for your work, now deepens even further. You take a long, slow breath in, and the air is thick with the beautiful, calming perfume you have just created. As you breathe out, you feel a wave of release. Your shoulders, which you did not even realize were tense, drop and soften. The muscles in your neck and back let go. You feel the warmth of the room seeping into your body, a gentle, penetrating heat that soothes your very bones. The brass still continues its quiet work, its surface a warm, glowing mirror for the room. You watch the single flame of the spirit lamp dance and sway, a tiny, silent ballet of gold and blue. Its light catches the myriad glass bottles on the shelves, and they seem to glow from within. The cobalt bottles become deep, luminous sapphires. The amber bottles are like solidified honey. The clear flasks hold the light and bend it, casting faint shimmering patterns on the dark wood behind them. The entire room is a mosaic of soft, gentle, colored light, a treasure chest in the dark. The sounds of the room are the sounds of absolute peace. The rain has softened now, from a drumming to a gentle, constant hush, a soft fish sound, as if the sky itself is whispering for you to sleep. It is a sound that wraps around the attic, insulating it, making it feel even more secluded, more protected. And beneath that sound, the steady, rhythmic pulse of the still, the gentle gurble, gurble, gurble fey of the simmering liquid has become the room's slow, steady heartbeat. Your own breathing begins to align with it, a slow, easy rhythm of inhale and exhale. The silence between the sounds is profound. It is not an empty silence, but a rich, warm, heavy silence, full of the scent of your perfume and the feeling of complete safety. You notice the small, almost imperceptible details of your surroundings. You see the dust motes, illuminated as they drift slowly through the beam of light cast by the flame, dancing in a slow, silent choreography. You notice the deep grain of the wooden workbench, the dark lines and walls worn smooth by 100 years of pressure and care. In a far corner, you can just make out the shape of a small desk, piled high with old leather, bound books and stacks of paper. From them, you can smell the faint, dry, sweet scent of old paper and aging leather, a scent that speaks of knowledge, of time, and of quiet contemplation. It blends with the scent of the perfume, adding another layer of history and peace. The feeling of the soft, heavy cotton lab coat on your shoulders is a constant, gentle pressure, a reminder of your quiet purpose here, but also a comforting weight, like a heavy blanket. The air in the room is warm, but not stuffy. You can feel the slightest, almost imperceptible current of air as the warmth from the still rises to the slanted ceiling and circulates, carrying the fragrance of your sleep potion to every corner of the attic. It touches your skin like a soft caress. The scent of the rose, sandalwood, and bergamot seems to work directly on your consciousness, smoothing away the sharp corners of the day, quieting the inner chatter, leaving only a feeling of deep, profound calm. You are floating in this space, suspended in warmth, in scent, in the gentle, rhythmic sounds of the rain and the still. There are no demands on you here, no expectations. There is only this moment of perfect, uninterrupted peace. It feels so good to let go. The flame of the spirit lamp seems to flicker in slow motion now, its movements languid and graceful. The shadows it casts on the walls and ceiling are soft and deep, swaying gently with the movement of the flame, as if the room itself is breathing slowly in and out. The reflections in the hundreds of glass bottles shimmer and shift, no longer distinct points of light, but a soft blended glow, a wash of muted colour against the darkness. The world outside the window has disappeared completely, a mere texture of running water on glass, its sounds absorbed into the greater quiet of the room. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to see, nothing left to think. The perfume you have made has done its work. The air is a soft blanket of slumber, woven from... The scent is a lullaby, a story without words, a promise of deep and dreamless rest, the slow, steady heartbeat of the still gurble. Asterisk continues its ancient rhythm, a pulse in the deep quiet of the night. And the rain on the roof, a soft, endless whisper, a gentle hushing sound that says, "It is time. It is time to let go." Your mind is quiet now. You are surrounded by a profound and gentle peace. And now there is only the feeling of drifting, of floating on a warm, fragrant current down into a deep and restorative and truly peaceful sleep. Rest well. And so you remain held safely within the heart of this alchemist's secret, this quiet attic sanctuary, nestled high above the sleeping streets of Montmartre. The world outside, the Paris of 1925, with its clattering motor cars and its bright, boisterous jazz, has faded completely now, washed away by the persistent, gentle rhythm of the autumn rain. Here, the air is a tapestry woven from scent and silence, a warm and heavy blanket that settles over your shoulders, inviting them to drop, to release the last vestiges of the waking world. You are utterly alone, and in that solitude you have found a profound and perfect peace. The white coat you wear, it feels substantial, protective, a uniform of quiet concentration. Its crispness is a subtle counterpoint to the softness of the air, the muffled sounds, the dim, honeyed light that pools on the surfaces around you. You sit on a simple wooden stool, its legs worn smooth by years of use, its seat shaped by countless hours of patient work. Before you stretches a heavy oak workbench, its surface scarred with the history of creation, faint rings from forgotten beakers, a dark stain from a spill of oak moss, absolute, a delicate tracery of scratches where a glass rod once rolled. It is not a surface of pristine perfection, but of beloved, dedicated use, a testament to the slow and deliberate art you practice here. The rain continues its soft, percussive lullaby on the slanted roof above you. It is not a violent storm, but a steady, soothing drizzle, a sound that insulates and cocoons. You can hear the subtle variations in its rhythm, a soft, insistent patter, patter, patter on the glass of the dormer window, a deeper, more resonant drumming on the aged zinc of the rooftop itself, and the occasional liquid gurgle from the drain pipe just outside, carrying the water safely down into the sleeping city. These are the only sounds that penetrate your haven, and they do not intrude. Instead, they form a gentle, rhythmic foundation, a natural percussion against which the quieter sounds of your work can play. And the quietest sound of all comes from the brass distiller that glows like a miniature sun in the dimness of the room. It is a beautiful object, an alembic of classic form, its rounded belly or cucurbit sitting snugly over the low blue flame of a spirit lamp. The brass is polished to a warm, buttery sheen, and it reflects the lamplight in soft, distorted waves, making the very air around it seem to shimmer. The flame beneath it is turned down so low that it is almost invisible, a mere whisper of heat that coaxes the fragrant liquid inside into a state of gentle, meditative transformation. Inside the alembic, a precious hydrosol, the captured soul of 1,000 rose petals, is undergoing its final purification. If you lean in very close, holding your breath, you can hear the softest of sounds, the most delicate of whispers, a slow, rhythmic gloop. Gloop, gloop, asterisk as a single, lazy bubble of vapor forms, rises through the floral water and breaks the surface. It is the sound of patience, the sound of essence being drawn from substance. A sound so quiet, it feels more like a heartbeat than a bubble. From the alembic's belly, a graceful swan, like neck of copper curves upwards, and then down, tapering into a long, slender tube that passes through a condenser jacket where cool water circulates, coaxing the fragrant steam back into a liquid state. At the very end of this coil, a single, perfect drop of rosewater hangs, swelling with an agonizing slowness, shimmering for a moment before detaching and falling with a nearly silent fate link into a waiting glass flask below. Each drop is a measure of time. The air around you is thick with the ghosts of fragrances past and the promise of the one you are about to create. At its heart is the deep, velvety scent of rose, not the sharp green scent of a garden rose, but the impossibly rich, honeyed sweetness of rose otto, the precious essential oil distilled from the petals. It is a scent that speaks of history, of ancient Persian gardens and decadent Roman feasts. Woven through the rose is the creamy, sacred aroma of sandalwood. It smells of ancient temples, of polished wooden chests, of warmth and stillness and deep, unwavering peace. And dancing lightly over these two profound bass notes is the bright, uplifting spirit of bergamot. It is a spark of Italian sunlight captured in a bottle, a citrus note that is not merely sour, but complexly floral and slightly spicy, a joyful, welcoming scent that clears the air and lifts the heart. These three scents hang in the air, not as a chaotic mixture, but as a harmonious chord, a perfect balance of earth and blossom and light. And as you breathe it in, you feel your own breathing begin to slow, to deepen, to match the tranquil rhythm of the room. Your shoulders, which you did not even realize were tense, begin to soften and fall, releasing a weight you were not aware you were carrying. Your focus now narrows to the task at hand, the final delicate stage of your creation. On the workbench before you, there are beakers and flasks of all sizes, graduated cylinders marked with fine, precise lines, and long, elegant, stirring rods of clear, solid glass. Each piece is immaculately clean, catching and fracturing the lamplight into 1,000 tiny rainbows. They are the tools of a scientist. But in this light, in this room, they feel like the sacred vessels of a magician. You reach for a small, dark bottle made of deep cobalt blue glass. It is cool and heavy in your hand. This bottle holds the sandalwood, its dark glass protecting the precious, light, sensitive oil within. You twist the ground glass stopper, and it releases with a soft, satisfying fishka sound, a whisper of air escaping. The scent of creamy, spiritual wood intensifies, rising to greet you like an old friend. In your other hand, you hold a pipette, a long, slender tube of glass, thin as a bird's bone, with a small rubber bulb at the end. It is an instrument of pure precision. You squeeze the bulb, expelling the air, and dip the tip into the pale, viscous sandalwood oil. You release the bulb slowly, deliberately, and watch as a column of pale, buttery yellow liquid is drawn up into the glass tube, a measure of pure tranquility captured from the heart of an ancient tree. Your movements are unhurried, graceful, honed by years of practice. There is no wasted motion, no hesitation. You lift the pipette from the bottle and hold it poised over the central mixing vessel, a simple conical beaker of clear, flawless glass. For a moment, everything is still. The rain outside, the bubbling alembic, the very air in the room seems to hold its breath with you. It swells, clinging to the glass, a tiny shimmering sphere reflecting the entire room in its curved surface. It grows heavier, elongates, and then, with a soft surrender, it detaches. You add 2 more drops, counting them in your mind, Feitu. 3. Asterisk. Each one a perfect. You set the pipette down gently, its tip resting on a small glass dish, and the silence returns. Deeper now, punctuated only by the soft, distant rain. Next, you reach for the heart of the fragrance, the rose. Its bottle is smaller, more precious, made of a dark, smoky amber glass. The oil inside is a marvel of nature and art, the essence of 60,000 rose blossoms, a field of fragrant damask petals, condensed into a few milliliters of viscous, reddish gold liquid. The stopper comes free with a soft sigh, and the scent that emerges is overwhelming in its beauty. It is the scent of pure, unadulterated love, of deep, soulful comfort. You take up a new, clean pipette, its glass even finer than the last. You draw the precious oil into the tube, its rich, amber color glowing like a jewel in the lamplight. You move with even greater care now, as if handling liquid sunlight. You hold the pipette over the beaker, where the 3 drops of sandalwood now lie, a tiny golden pool. As it touches the other oil, it does not immediately mix, but spreads for a moment in a shimmering, iridescent film, a tiny fleeting oil slick of impossible beauty before coalescing. You add 4 more drops, a slow, patient count. Feone 2, 3, 4, 5. Asterisk. The heart of the perfume is now in place, a deep, resonant core of floral warmth. Your own heart rate seems to slow, to beat in time with the deliberate fall of each precious drop. Your eyelids feel a little heavier, the muscles around your eyes softening as you focus on your delicate work. Finally, it is time for the spirit, the bright, fleeting top note that will be the first to greet the senses. You pick up a bottle of clear glass, allowing you to see the pale, greenish, yellow liquid within. The bergamot. Unstopping this bottle releases a scent that is the very opposite of the midnight hour surrounding you. It is the scent of a sun-drenched afternoon in Calabria, a grove of citrus trees overlooking the sea. It is bright, clean, and effervescent. You add the bergamot with a quicker, lighter touch. Feone. They dance on the surface for a moment, tiny, shimmering motes of light, before surrendering to the whole. The primary composition is now complete. You have brought together the earth, the flower, and the sun, and all that remains is to unite them. You place the stoppers back in their bottles, each one settling into place with a soft, grinding whisper of glass on glass. Sealing the precious essences away once more, you take up a long, thin stirring rod. You lower its tip into the small pool of oils at the bottom of the beaker, and then, with a slow, circular motion, you begin to stir. The glass rod makes the faintest, most delicate sound as it touches the sides of the beaker. Not a clink, but a high, clear, ringing chime. Fating, asterisk. A pause, fatying. Asterisk, it is the sound of crystal bells. A tiny private concert played only for you and the sleeping city. As you stir, the oils begin to merge. The clear divisions between them blur and dissolve. The colours swirl together, creating beautiful temporary patterns of gold and amber and pale green, like marbled paper or the nebulae in a distant galaxy. The liquid becomes a single, homogeneous, luminous substance, the colour of dark, rich honey or ancient amber, glowing with a soft internal light. You lift the stirring rod, and a single, thick, syrupy drop falls back into the mixture, creating a ripple that spreads slowly to the edge of the glass. Now you pick up the beaker itself. You hold it in your palms, feeling the cool, solid weight of the glass. You begin to swirl the liquid, not by stirring, but by moving the beaker in a slow, gentle, circular motion. The liquid follows your lead, creating a silent, swirling vortex. The only sound is the faintest face-swish. You watch the vortex spin, mesmerizing, pulling your focus inward, away from thought, into pure sensation. The rain on the roof, the swirling liquid, the slow beat of your own heart. You are not just making a perfume, you are performing a ritual of tranquility. You are coaxing the very essence of rest into being, and, as you swirl the golden liquid, you can feel your own mind beginning to quiet, the frantic thoughts of the day dissolving, just as the oils dissolved into one another, leaving only a state of calm, clear, and profound stillness. The work is now done. The final alchemy is complete. You have created your fait parfum de sommeil fait, your fragrance of sleep. You carefully place the beaker back on the polished oak of the workbench, its contents glowing like a captured ember. The time for action has passed. Now begins the time for stillness, for observation, for sinking into the world you have so carefully curated. You do not move to clean up. You do not move to put things away. You simply lean back on your wooden stool, allowing your spine to rest against the wall behind you. A deep, slow breath fills your lungs, and as you exhale, it feels as if you are releasing the last particle of tension from your body. Your shoulders, which had been softened, now feel completely heavy and loose, sinking down toward the earth. Your hands, which have worked with such precision, now rest limply in your lap, palms up, open and receptive to the quiet of the room. The muscles in your jaw unclench. Your tongue rests gently in the bottom of your mouth. A wave of profound relaxation washes over you. Your focus shifts from doing to simply being. Your attention turns to the new atmosphere in the room, which is now saturated with the finished fragrance. It rises from the beaker in invisible, gentle waves, a scent that is so much more than the sum of its parts. The bright, welcoming smile of the bergamot is the first thing you notice, but it is no longer sharp or loud. It has been softened, rounded by the other notes, like sunlight seen through a soft morning mist. It is simply an invitation, a gentle hand reaching out to guide you. And, as you accept that invitation, breathing more deeply, you move into the heart of the fragrance, the blooming, velvety warmth of the rose. It is not the scent of a flower, but the feeling of being held, of being swaddled in velvet, of absolute safety and unconditional comfort. It fills your chest with a gentle, expansive warmth. And just beneath it all, the sandalwood provides its constant, unwavering support. It is the deep, resonant hum that underlies the entire composition, a foundation of such profound peace that it seems to absorb all anxiety, all worry. It is the scent of the earth itself, solid and eternal, holding you steady as you begin to drift. The fragrance is a blanket of scent wrapping around you, insulating you from everything but this present moment of perfect peace. With each slow breath, you draw it deeper into your being, and with each slow exhale, you feel yourself letting go, sinking further and further into a state of deep and dreamlike repose. The sounds of the room, which were once the background to your work, now come to the foreground, each one a soft brushstroke on a canvas of silence. The rain has settled into an even more gentle and consistent rhythm, a soft, steady drumming that has no beginning and no end. You can hear the individual drops as they land on the window pane, each one a tiny liquid tap, a secret code being tapped out just for you. The sound is infinitely complex, yet perfectly simple, a natural mantra that quiets the mind and soothes the soul. And inside the room, the alembic has fallen almost. The flame beneath it, having done its work, is now just a tiny, unwavering blue bead of light. The only sound is the impossibly slow, impossibly quiet faint fay of a single drop of condensed rosewater falling into the flask, perhaps once every minute. The silence between the drops is vast and peaceful, a space for your mind to rest, to expand, to simply be empty. Your breathing has become so slow and so quiet, now that you can barely hear it yourself. It has synchronized with the profound quiet of the laboratory. Each inhalation, a gentle wave rising. Each exhalation, a soft wave, falling on a shore of deep, deep calm. Your eyes, which have been softly focused on the glowing beaker, now begin to lose their focus. The edges of things begin to blur and soften. The amber lamplight seems to grow warmer, thicker, as if the air itself were turning to honey. The rows and rows of glass bottles on the shelves that line the walls lose their individual shapes. They merge into a single shimmering cityscape of silhouettes and reflections, a fantastical, silent metropolis of glass and shadow. The flame of the lamp casts long, slow, dancing shadows that move with a lazy, hypnotic grace, stretching and shrinking on the slanted ceiling. You watch a single, fat drop of condensation form on the inside of the window pane. It traces a slow, meandering path down the cool glass, joining with other drops, becoming part of a larger, glistening river that obscures the view of the world outside. Not that there is anything to see, but the soft, wet darkness of the Parisian night. Your eyelids feel impossibly heavy now, as if tiny, smooth stones have been placed upon them. It feels like the most natural thing in the world to let them close. And as you do, the visual world dissolves, replaced by the richer, deeper world of scent. The darkness behind your eyelids is not empty. It is a warm, velvety, and welcoming darkness, filled with the lingering glow of the lamp and the comforting presence of the room. You are no longer an observer in the laboratory. You are becoming part of it. You are the stillness between the raindrops, the warmth of the brass alembic, the deep peace of the sandalwood. It has become a current, a soft and gentle river that is beginning to carry you away from the shores of wakefulness. The bergamot is the light on the water's surface, the rose is the deep, warm current itself, and the sandalwood is the smooth, silent riverbed below. There is no need to swim. You simply have to let go, to allow this gentle current to carry you out of this room, out of this night, and into the deep, healing waters of sleep. The feeling of the heavy, starched coat on your body dissolves, replaced by a feeling of weightlessness. The The sensation of the wooden stool beneath you fades, and you feel only a sense of being held, supported, and perfectly safe. The boundaries of your physical self are becoming soft and indistinct, melting into the warmth and the quiet that surrounds you. You are drifting now, floating in a sea of tranquility that you yourself have created. The rhythmic sounds of the rain become more distant, more muffled, as if you are hearing them from the bottom of a deep, calm ocean. The scent of the perfume is no longer in the air around you, but inside you, a warm, glowing ember of peace in the very center of your being. Let the current take you. There is nothing to do, nothing to think, nothing to be except peaceful. Let the last thoughts of the day unravel and drift away like threads of smoke in the still air, leaving behind only this profound and boundless calm. The night is long and deep, and it is here to hold you. And so you drift, and you float, on a gentle tide of rose and sandalwood, into a sleep so deep, so peaceful, and so restorative, that it feels like coming home. Rest now, sleep now. The delicate glass pipette feels cool and impossibly fragile between your thumb and forefinger, a transparent wand of hollowed crystal that seems to channel the quiet of the room into a single, focused point. You are a figure of calm precision, robed in a heavy, soft cotton laboratory coat that has absorbed the complex soul of this attic space, carrying the faint, ghostly impressions of 1,000 other nights, just like this one. It smells of dried lavender from a sachet tucked in a drawer weeks ago, of the faint, clean astringency of alcohol used to sterilize your instruments, and of the deep, resinous sweetness of sandalwood that has permanently settled into the fibers. The coat is a comfort, its weight a gentle pressure on your shoulders, a constant tactile reminder of your purpose here, in this high sanctuary above the sleeping city. Outside, the late autumn rain continues its soft, percussive monologue against the slate tiles of the mansard roof. It is not a violent storm, but a persistent, whispering drizzle, a sound that insulates and protects. Each drop that strikes the windowpane of your garret is a tiny liquid footstep, blurring the gaslit world of the Parisian streets below into a soft focused dream of smeared gold and watery grey. The sound is a rhythm, a gentle, unending cadence that has become the metronome for your own slowing heart. It trickles down the glass in meandering paths, little rivers charting transient continents on the pane, and the sound of it running down the roof and into the gutters is a soft, continuous sigh, the sound of the world outside washing itself clean, while you remain here untouched in the warm, scented stillness. Your entire universe has contracted to this small, consecrated circle of amber light cast by the single gas lamp on your workbench. The flame within its glass housing burns with a steady, silent intensity, a miniature sun that holds the darkness at bay. It throws a warm, golden sheen across the polished surfaces of the dark wood, making the brass fittings of your alembic gleam with a low, buttery luster. The distiller itself, a beautiful contraption of hammered brass and copper tubing, sits over a low blue flame from a spirit lamp. It is the gentle heart of the room, and it murmurs to itself with a soft, hypnotic bubbling, a fey gurgle. Inside, a precious hydrosol is slowly, patiently separating from its botanical origins, the steam rising, cooling, and condensing into a clear, potent liquid, one precious drop at a time. The sound is so quiet, so deeply calming, that it seems to be coming from within your own chest, a liquid rhythm that syncs with the slow, deep measure of your breathing. The air itself is a tangible presence, a complex tapestry woven from the very essences you seek to capture. The dominant note, the rich, velvety foundation of the atmosphere, is the Bulgarian rose oil you were working with an hour ago. It's not the sharp green scent of a garden rose, but the deep, honeyed, almost jammy fragrance of 1,000 petals distilled into a single potent concentration. It hangs in the air like a memory of summer, a warm and comforting ghost that speaks of sunlight and soft earth. Woven through the rose is the sacred, creamy aroma of sandalwood, sourced from ancient trees in Mysore. It is a dry, woody, and profoundly peaceful scent, the fragrance of meditation and quiet contemplation, grounding the sweetness of the rose and giving it an elegant, enduring spine. And dancing over these two heavier notes is the bright, uplifting spirit of bergamot, a sun-drenched citrus note that is not sharp or acidic, but sweet and almost floral, like smelling the peel of the fruit as it's warmed by an Italian sun. Together, it is the very air of slumber, and with every breath you take, you draw it deeper into your being, feeling its calming influence spread through you like a warm, pleasant tide. Your focus returns to the task at hand, the final crucial step in this nocturnal alchemy. In your left hand, you hold a small, crystal, clear beaker, a graduated measuring glass, marked with impossibly fine lines. Inside it, a blend of carrier oils and base notes swirls with a viscous, syrupy grace. You have already built the foundation of your sleeping scent, the fait parfum de sommeil fait, a potion not for seduction or for statement, but for the solitary journey into the deepest realms of rest. With the concentration of a watchmaker, you raise the glass pipette over the beaker. Suspended within the pipette is a single milliliter of a rare and precious amber essence, a fossilized resin tincture that has taken you months to perfect. It is the color of petrified honey, of ancient sunlight trapped in time, and it holds a scent that is almost impossible to describe. A warm, powdery, slightly sweet, and deeply resinous aroma that smells the way a very old, very quiet room feels. You gently squeeze the small rubber bulb at the top of the pipette, your fingers moving with an economy of motion learnt over countless hours of practice. The pressure is infinitesimal, a thought more than an action. A single, perfect droplet of the amber oil begins to swell at the pipette's narrow tip. It hangs there for a breathtaking moment, a tiny shimmering jewel reflecting the gaslight in its curved surface. You can see the entire room miniaturized within it. The rows of bottles, the gleam of brass, the soft shadow that is your own focused form. Then, with a gravitational inevitability, it detaches. It falls, a tiny golden teardrop, through the inch of scented air and strikes the surface of the liquid in the beaker. There is no splash. There is only the faintest whisper of a sound, a faint fey so subtle it is more felt than heard, and a slow, beautiful ripple that expands outwards in a perfect circle from the point of impact. You watch, mesmerized, as the golden drop sinks, trailing a silken, oily ribbon behind it. A slow-motion ballet of fluid dynamics. The amber essence, heavier than the other oils, descends like a slow, golden meteor through the pale liquid, dissolving as it goes, turning the entire mixture a shade warmer, a tone deeper. The silence that follows is profound, broken only by the gentle bubbling of the distiller and the soft drumming of the rain on the roof. In this quiet, you become aware of another sound, one you have been making without noticing. As you set the delicate pipette down in its velvet, lined tray, the fine glass touches the glass of the tray with an ethereal crystalline chime. Fating, asterisk, the sound is as clear and pure as a tiny silver bell struck once in a vast empty cathedral. It hangs in the warm, fragrant air for a long moment, its vibration seeming to polish the silence that follows. It is the sound of careful work, of precious things handled with reverence. You find yourself holding your breath, listening to the last of its resonance fade into the gentle background hum of the laboratory. Your shoulders, which you hadn't realized were tense with concentration, begin to soften and drop. A wave of deep satisfaction washes over you. A quiet joy in that you need 2 more drops. Again, you lift the pipette. The smooth, cool glass is a familiar comfort in your hand. You position it over the beaker, your arm steady, your breathing slow and even. The city of Paris can hurry and bustle and strive below. Up here, in your alchemist nest, time moves at a different pace. It moves with the slow drip of condensing steam, the patient crawl of rain down a window pane, the deliberate fall of a single drop of oil. It merges with the liquid, its essence unfurling and blending, adding another layer of warmth, another whisper of ancient quiet. You set the pipette down once more, and again that impossibly delicate sound echoes in the stillness. Fating, asterisk this time. Your eyelids feel a little heavier now, the muscles around your eyes softening. The gaslight seems warmer, its glow more diffuse and gentle. One final drop, the Trinity. You set the pipette down for the last time, and the third chime rings out, a final clear note that seems to hang in the air as a seal upon your work. Fating, asterisk now. There is nothing left to do but wait and observe. You pick up the small beaker, its glass cool against your palm. You hold it up to the light, admiring the colour. It is now a uniform pale gold, the colour of a fine Sauternes wine, or a late afternoon sunbeam slanting through a dusty window. It looks alive, potent, full of late. You begin to swirl the beaker in a slow circular motion. Your wrist moves with a fluid, practiced grace, and the liquid inside follows, creating a small, silent vortex. The only sound is the faintest face swish. Swish, swish fay of the oils, turning against the glass walls. It is a watery, hypnotic sound, a miniature ocean captured in your hand. As you swirl, the centrifugal force presses the liquid up the sides of the beaker in a thin, translucent film, and this action gently agitates the molecules, encouraging them to marry, to become one harmonious whole. The scent begins to rise from the beaker, a more complete and unified version of the fragrance that already fills the room. As the oils blend, the individual notes begin to sing in concert. The bright citrus of the bergamot is the opening, a gentle call to attention, and holding it all together. The scent is tranquility, your breathing, already slow. A pleasant warmth spreads from your chest outwards, a gentle, comforting heat that relaxes every muscle it touches. Your mind, which a moment ago was focused and sharp, begins to soften and drift. Thoughts arise not as sharp, defined ideas, but as soft-edged, slow, moving clouds that drift by without attachment. The rain outside seems to soften, its patter becoming more of a gentle hiss, a constant, lulling shush from the world beyond your window. The bubbling of the alembic is a steady, liquid heartbeat. The low hum of the gas lamp is a single, sustained note of peace. All these sounds merge with the fragrance, creating a complete sensory environment of absolute safety and calm. This is your creation, not just the perfume in the beaker. You swirl the liquid one more time. The soft face swish. Swish, asterisk, a final lullaby. The rows of bottles on the shelves behind your workbench seem to melt into one another, becoming a tapestry of dark shapes and soft, jeweled glints of light. The shadows in the corners of the room seem to deepen, to soften, to become inviting pools of quiet darkness. You place the beaker gently back onto the workbench, the glass making a soft, solid fey hump fey on the dark wood. The action is final, complete. The work is done. Now all that remains is to let you lean back slightly on your stool, the old wood creaking softly beneath you. You rest your hands in the lap of your heavy cotton coat, your fingers loosely intertwined. Your gaze drifts around the laboratory, this secret world you have built. It is more than a workshop. It is a library of scents, a museum of memories captured in glass. Each bottle on the shelf contains a world, a tiny vial of violet essence that smells exactly like a shaded, mossy forest floor in early spring. A flask of vetiver oil, earthy and smoky, that evokes the feeling of a bonfire on a cool autumn evening. A jar of jasmine absolute, so heady and intoxicating, it is almost overwhelming. The scent of a humid, moonless night in a tropical garden. They are all here, your silent companions. Each one is a note, a word in a language that speaks directly to the soul, bypassing the intellect and touching the deepest parts of your being. And tonight, you have composed a poem in that language, a lullaby written in scent. The gas lamp continues to burn. Your breathing is slow and deep, each exhalation a release, a letting go. Your eyelids are so heavy now, so very heavy, and the space behind your eyes is warm and dark and comfortable. There is nothing left to do, nothing to think about, nothing to solve. There is only the gentle, inexorable pull of a deep and dreamless sleep, a sleep you have so carefully, so lovingly prepared for yourself. The world can wait. Tonight, there is only rest. The weight of the glass dropper is a familiar comfort in your hand. You are here, in this sanctuary of scent and sound, this alchemist's secret tucked away beneath the eaves of Montmartre, sheltered from the deep autumn night and the soft, persistent rain that whispers against the roof tiles. The world outside, with its hurried pace and its sharp edges, has faded away completely, leaving only the gentle glow of your laboratory and the quiet purpose of your work. You are a perfumer, a creator of dreams in liquid form, and tonight you are crafting a lullaby for the senses, a fragrance designed not to be worn, but to be experienced as a gateway to the deepest, most restorative sleep. Your entire being is focused, yet completely at ease. You are wearing a simple white cotton lab coat, its fabric soft and heavy on your shoulders, a protective layer that feels like a warm embrace. Before you, on the dark, polished surface of the oak workbench, an array of glass vessels gleams softly in the amber light of a single, low-burning spirit lamp. Beakers and flasks, retorts and funnels, each piece of glassware is a testament to its own history, some marked with the faint etches of countless measurements, others possessing the subtle, beautiful imperfections of hand-blown glass. They stand, like a silent, crystalline audience, waiting for the final act of your creation. In the center of this arrangement is a single, perfectly clear crystal beaker, already holding the base of your concoction, a blend of pure grain, derived alcohol that will serve as the carrier for the precious oils. The air around you is already a complex tapestry of fragrance, a warm and inviting cloud of Bulgarian Rose, Mysore sandalwood, and the bright citrusy top note of bergamot, all mingling with the damp, earthy scent of the rain-soaked Parisian streets that drifts in through the slightest crack in the window frame. From the corner of the room, a large brass distiller, looking like an ancient and mysterious sculpture, murmurs to itself over a low blue flame. Ah, gentle, rhythmic fagurgle. Your gaze is fixed upon the task at hand, a delicate and meditative process that demands your complete and gentle attention. The fine glass tip of the pipette hovers just above the mouth of the crystal beaker, poised and ready. Inside the dropper, a precious, viscous liquid gleams, catching the lamplight with a profound inner fire. It is the color of ancient amber, of petrified honey, of sunlight trapped for 1,000 years in the heart of a forgotten forest. This is the heart of your sleeping fragrance, a rare and potent resinoid. Its scent, a deep, warm, and comforting secret that is about to be revealed. Your thumb and forefinger apply the most infinitesimal pressure to the soft rubber bulb at the top of the dropper, a pressure that is more of an intention than a physical act, a gentle coaxing that invites the oil to begin its slow descent. And you watch, holding your breath without realizing it, as a single perfect hemisphere of the golden oil begins to swell at the very tip of the glass. It seems to hang there for an impossible length of time, a perfect jewel of liquid light, its surface tension holding it together against the gentle pull of gravity. It reflects the entire room in its tiny, curved surface, a distorted, miniature version of the dancing flame, the rows of bottles, and the soft shadow of your own focused face. Then, with a slowness that feels almost deliberate, it lets go. The drop detaches from the glass tip and falls in a silent, graceful arc through the small space of air. For that brief moment, it is a perfect sphere, a tiny planet of liquid gold journeying through the quiet atmosphere of your laboratory. It meets the surface of the clear alcohol in the beaker, not with a splash, but with a soft, resonant fake-link fey, a sound so delicate and clear it seems to hang in the air for a moment, a tiny crystalline bell rung just for you. The sound is almost imperceptible, quieter than the rain, quieter than the gurgling distiller, yet in the focused stillness of your sanctum, it is as clear and significant as a church bell ringing across a silent valley. As the drop pierces the surface, it sends out a series of slow, concentric ripples that expand outward, smooth and perfect, until they dissolve against the glass walls of the beaker. You watch as the amber-coloured oil, heavier than the alcohol, begins its slow, languid descent to the bottom, trailing a shimmering golden tail behind it, like a comet drifting through a clear night sky. The oil unfurls as it sinks, a plume of liquid gold blooming in the crystal, clear medium, its edges softening and blurring as it begins to dissolve, releasing its soul into the mixture. A new thread of aroma is instantly woven into the air, a scent of deep, dry wood, of sacred resins, and the quiet dust of centuries. It is a grounding, centering fragrance that speaks of ancient forests and quiet temples, a scent that calms the mind and reassures the spirit. Your hand remains perfectly steady, a testament to the peace that this work brings you. You allow the first drop to fully disperse, watching the last golden tendrils dissolve into the clear liquid, leaving it with a faint, sunny tint. The air in the room has shifted, becoming richer, deeper, more complex. The bright notes of rose and bergamot are now anchored by this warm, resinous base, creating a perfect, harmonious chord of scent. Your shoulders, which you didn't even realize were tense, now drop and soften, releasing a gentle weight. Your breathing, which had been slow and steady, now deepens further, finding a rhythm that is in perfect harmony with the soft, persistent patter of the rain against the window panes and the gentle, rhythmic bubbling of the distiller. The sounds of your small world, the fey patter. Once again, you apply that same gentle, intentional pressure to the rubber bulb. The process repeats itself, a slow and hypnotic ballet of physics and chemistry. Another perfect bead of amber oil swells at the tip of the dropper, capturing the light, holding its form with a quiet, patient strength. You find your focus narrowing entirely onto this single point of light, this tiny, gleaming orb. The rest of the world, even the rest of the room, seems to fade into a soft, indistinct blur. There is only your hand, the glass, and this drop of liquid gold. As it falls, you follow its journey with your eyes, a short, silent meditation, Failing, faither sound returns. It is a sound of such profound quietness that it seems to deepen the silence around it. Another set of perfect ripples expands across the surface. Another golden comet trails its shimmering tail as it sinks, blooming and unfurling its fragrant essence. The scent in the room grows warmer, more embracing, wrapping around you like a heavy, soft blanket. It fills your lungs with each slow breath, and with each exhale, you feel another layer of tension, another thought from the day, simply dissolving and drifting away. You repeat the process a third time. The movement is now second nature, your muscles holding a perfect memory of the required pressure, the precise angle as the third drop forms. You notice the way the light from the spirit lamp refracts through it, splitting into a tiny, almost invisible spectrum of color at its edges. It is a miniature rainbow, a secret prism holding all the colors of the light, visible only to you in this moment of intense, quiet observation. It falls fay-link fay. The sound is now a familiar and deeply comforting beat in the rhythm of your work. You watch the third plume of gold join the others, the liquid in the beaker taking on a richer, warmer, sunnier hue. You could stand here all night, repeating this simple, perfect action, finding a universe of peace in the creation of a single drop of oil. The gentle heat from the spirit lamp on the distiller's stand radiates outwards, warming the air around your workbench, adding to the feeling of profound coziness. The cool night air that seeps from the window frame only serves to make the warmth of your immediate space feel even more secure, even more like a haven. A quiet, almost inaudible sound draws your attention for a moment. It is the faintest of sounds, the sound of glass touching glass. As you hold a tiny, high-pitched fating fay, a single, pure note that vibrates for a second and then is gone. You lift the dropper a fraction of an inch higher, a minute correction in this dance of creation. The drop forms. The fragrance is now fully formed in the air, a perfect balance of floral brightness, citrus zest, and the deep, resinous, woody warmth of the amber oil. It is the scent of a sun-drenched garden at dusk, as the warmth of the day gives way to the cool, peaceful embrace of night. It is a scent that promises rest, that whispers of dreams, that quiets the restless mind. You add a fifth and final drop. This one feels ceremonial, the concluding note of a beautiful piece of music. It gathers, it falls. You watch it descend, the last golden plume blooming within the beaker. The elixir of slumber is nearly complete. With immense care, you lift the dropper away from the beaker. You move it over to a small velvet-lined tray on your workbench. As you set the glass pipette down, it makes no sound at all, its form cushioned by the soft, dark fabric. The silence of the action is as satisfying as the delicate sounds that preceded it. You reach for the beaker, your palm and fingers curling around its cool, reassuringly solid body. The glass is smooth and weighted, a comforting presence in your hand. Now, you begin to swirl the liquid, not with a vigorous shake, but with a slow, deliberate, circular rotation of your wrist. The liquid inside begins to move, at first sluggishly, and then with more momentum, forming a swirling vortex. The golden hue of the resinoid mixes completely with the clear alcohol, creating a perfectly uniform, pale gold liquid that catches the lamplight and shimmers with a soft internal luminescence. Swish-fay of the liquid rotating inside the beaker is a new sound, a watery whisper that joins the chorus of the rain and the distiller. The motion agitates the molecules, releasing the full bouquet you have so carefully constructed. The rose is there, soft and romantic, like petals scattered on a pillow, and weaving through it all is the soul of the fragrance, the warm, ancient, resinous amber. A scent that feels like a gentle hand on your shoulder, a reassuring presence in the dark. You breathe it in, a long, slow, deep inhalation, and you can feel the fragrance traveling through you, a wave of profound calm that starts in your chest and radiates outwards to the very tips of your fingers and toes. Your eyelids feel heavy, so very heavy like velvet curtains slowly drawing close. And then you stop. Your hand ceases its gentle rotation, and the vortex inside the beaker slowly, gracefully subsides. You watch as the liquid settles into a state of perfect stillness, its surface becoming as smooth and reflective as a small golden pond. You place the beaker back down upon the dark wood of the workbench, with a soft final fade of glass on wood, a sound of completion. Your work for the night is complete. The elixir of slumber. You do not move to bottle it yet. There is no need. The purpose was not just in the product, but in the process, in the meditative, peaceful ritual of its creation. Now is the time for stillness. Now is the time for observation. You remain at your bench, your hands resting gently on the cool wood. Your posture is relaxed, your body heavy and at ease. You are simply present, a quiet observer in your own peaceful world. The flame of the small spirit lamp under the distiller continues its silent, hypnotic dance. It is a tiny blue and yellow heart of fire, and it casts long, dancing shadows that stretch and retreat across the wooden shelves, making the rows of glass bottles seem to breathe in the dim light. Your gaze drifts over them, these silent keepers of 1,000 scents. A bottle of jasmine from Grasse, a dark vial of vetiver from Haiti, a small flask of oak moss tincture, its contents the colour of a deep forest floor. Each one is a memory, a place, a feeling, captured and held in suspension. But you feel no need to reach for them. Tonight. The rain outside seems to have softened even further, its rhythm slowing from a steady patter to a fine, misty drizzle that barely whispers against the glass. It is a sound on the very edge of hearing, a sonic blanket that muffles the world and isolates you in this warm, fragrant cocoon. You can hear the water trickling softly in the gutters that run along the slanted roof above you, a gentle, liquid sound that speaks of shelter and security. You are inside, warm and dry, while the autumn night performs its gentle ablutions on the city of Paris. Your eyes begin to lose their focus, the gleam of the glassware and the dance of the flame softening into a beautiful, hazy blur your mind. Once focused and intent on your task, it has been emptied of thoughts, of worries, of plans. It is as still and clear as the liquid now resting in the beaker before you. There is nothing left to do, nowhere else to be. Only here. Your head feels heavy on your neck, and you allow it to bow forward just slightly, releasing the last vestiges of tension. A profound sense of tranquility fills you, a deep and abiding calm that seems to emanate from the very center of your being. The world has been distilled down to these simple, perfect sensations: the warmth on your skin, the scent of amber and rose in the air, the soft light that fills the room, and the gentle, rhythmic sounds that are rocking you, ever so slowly, ever so gently, into a state of deep, dreamless rest. The night is long, and it is all yours to rest, yours to heal, yours to drift away on the fragrant tide you have so carefully and lovingly created. It hangs for a breath, a perfect sphere of captured amber light, before surrendering to the pull of the earth and melting into the liquid below. There is no splash, only a silent, expanding ring of gold that ripples outward, a fleeting crown on the surface of your creation, before the whole of it settles into a uniform, honeyed stillness. The work is done. The delicate dance of measurement and infusion, of heat and patience. You lift the long glass pipette away from the beaker, its slender tip now clean, and place it with impossible slowness back into its velvet-lined rack. The faintest whisper of glass on felt is the only sound of your movement, a sigh of finality in the quiet laboratory. Your hands, which have been so steady, so precise, now feel a profound sense of release. You lower them to your sides, the starched white fabric of your lab coat rustling with a sound like dry leaves. For a long moment, you simply stand before the workbench, a silent observer of the small universe you have just brought into being. The potion of slumber rests in its glass vessel, a pool of liquid twilight. It is a sound you have known your entire life, the sound of Montmartre settling in for the night. But tonight, it feels different. It is no longer just the weather, a barrier between you and the sleeping city. It has become a part of the room's own symphony, a soft, steady rhythm section for the whisper, quiet hum of the brass distiller, and the slow, even measure of your own breathing. The rain taps against the high garret window, not with urgency, but with a soft, inquisitive touch, as if it too is curious about the magic being woven within these walls. Each drop that traces a path down the cool glass seems to pull a little more of the world's hurry away with it, leaving only this sanctuary of warmth and scent and shadow. Your shoulders, which had been held in a posture of intense concentration, begin to drop. A wave of deep relaxation flows down your spine, unknotting muscles you didn't even realize were tense. The air itself seems to be holding you, supporting you. It is thick with the fragrance you have so carefully constructed, a complex and evolving tapestry of aromas. The initial bright citrus kiss of the bergamot, which was so sharp and clear when you began, has now softened, mellowed by the heat and the marriage with other essences. It is no longer a declaration, but a suggestion, a memory of sunlight on a distant Italian coast, a gentle introduction to the deeper story waiting to unfold. And beneath that fading brightness, the heart of the fragrance begins to bloom in the warm air. The damask rose. It is not the scent of a fresh-cut flower, crisp and green. This is the rose of memory, the scent of petals pressed between the pages of a heavy book, their fragrance released after 100 years of slumber. It is a deep, velvety, almost jam-like sweetness, rich and enveloping, without a trace of sharpness. It speaks of attics filled with heirlooms, of faded love letters tied with silk ribbon, of gardens glimpsed only in dreams. It is a scent that does not ask for attention, but rather invites you to lean in, to close your eyes, to remember things you have never known. You feel your own breathing start to slow, to deepen, finding a natural, easy rhythm that seems to match the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the distiller in the corner. That soft, gurgling sound, the fay-gulu gulu fay of the simmering liquid, has been the room's heartbeat for hours. It is the sound of transformation, of water becoming steam, of herbs releasing their secrets. It is a sound of patience, of slow and steady work being done without fuss or hurry. The low blue flame of the Bunsen burner beneath it is barely visible, a shimmering distortion in the air, its heat radiating outward in a gentle, invisible wave that warms the cool stone floor around its base. You can see the condensation beading on the distiller's polished copper belly, each droplet a tiny, distorted lens reflecting the single gas lamp that illuminates your work, turning its golden light into 1,000 miniature stars. And then, anchoring it all, is the sandalwood. It is the smell of ancient temples, of polished wooden chests, of sacred incense, burning in a far-off, quiet place. It doesn't just fill the air, it seems to give the air weight, to turn it into a soft, heavy blanket. It is a scent that speaks of grounding, of stability, of deep and profound peace. It calms the flightiness of the bergamot and gives a timeless depth to the romantic sweetness of the rose. Together, they have merged. As you inhale, you can feel the last vestiges of the day's thoughts begin to dissolve, their sharp edges softening, their urgency fading into a muted, distant hum. It is a landscape of glass, a city of strange and beautiful shapes. There are the bulbous boiling flasks, the serpentine coils of the condensers, the tall, slender columns of the fractionating tubes. Each piece is a testament to the alchemical art designed for a specific purpose, yet possessing an abstract beauty all its own. The gaslight catches on the curved surfaces, creating soft, distorted reflections of the room. A long, elegant retort looks like a resting swan. A row of small, cork-stoppered vials holds essences of every imaginable colour. The deep forest green of oak moss, the sunny yellow of lemon, the unsettling inky violet of orris root. They are a silent library of scents, a collection of captured moments and distilled landscapes. In the quiet, you become aware of the dust, not as something to be cleaned, but as a soft, silent participant in the room's deep peace. Motes of it dance in the single, solid beam of light that cuts through the shadows, swirling in lazy, intricate patterns like tiny galaxies drifting through the cosmos of your laboratory. They rise and fall with the imperceptible currents of warm air from the distiller, each one catching the light for a brief, brilliant moment before disappearing back into the soft darkness. They settle like a fine grey veil on the shoulders of forgotten bottles, on the highest shelves, softening their edges, muting their shine, making them look less like tools and more like ancient artifacts, unearthed from a forgotten tomb. The dust is the physical manifestation of time passing slowly, peacefully, without interruption. It is heavier than you expected, its weight a satisfying, tangible reality in your palm. As you tilt the beaker, the perfume clings to the glass, leaving behind thick, slow, moving rivulets or legs. A single drop, placed on a pillow or a pulse point, is enough to guide even the most restless mind toward the quiet fields of slumber. This is not a medicine. It is an invitation, a key to a locked door. From a nearby tray, it is made of dark, cobalt, blue glass, almost black, and shaped like a flattened teardrop. Its purpose is to protect the precious liquid from the light, to preserve its potency and its secrets. The stopper is ground glass, fitting into the neck of the bottle with airtight precision. You hold the flaken in one hand and the beaker in the other, and with a movement born of 1,000 repetitions, you pour the warm, thick liquid. It flows not with a splash, but with a silent, syrupy ribbon of amber, coiling into the dark blue depths of the bottle. The sound is almost non-existent, a thick, muffled glugging that is absorbed by the room's profound quiet. You fill it almost to the brim, leaving just enough air to allow the fragrance to breathe. Then, you take the ground glass stopper and place it into the neck of the flagon. You press down and give it a slight twist. The friction of glass against glass creates a faint, high-pitched, satisfying squeak, a sound of perfect closure. The scent is now sealed within. The work is truly, finally complete. You hold the small, heavy bottle in the palm of your hand, its dark blue glass feeling cool and solid against your skin. It is a container of night, a captured and concentrated essence of tranquility. You turn from the workbench, and your eyes fall upon the old wooden stool where you have sat for countless hours. It is worn smooth from use, its seat dipped into a shallow, comfortable bowl, the grain of the wood polished to a dull sheen. It does not look like a piece of furniture, so much as a trusted friend, a silent companion to your solitary work. The thought of sitting is overwhelmingly appealing. You move toward it, your feet making almost no sound on the worn floorboards. The white lab coat feels heavy on your shoulders, a uniform you are suddenly ready to shed. You unbutton it slowly, each small pearlescent button cool to the touch. You shrug it off, and the release of its weight is another small step on the journey. You fold it once, twice, and lay it carefully over the back of a nearby chair, its crisp whiteness now a soft, shadowy form in the dim light. You sink onto the stool, and a soft sigh escapes your lips, a sound you were not aware you were holding in. The wood is cool at first, but it quickly absorbs the warmth of your body. From this vantage point, the laboratory changes. Your eyes are level with the glowing embers of your mind, the last few active thoughts that are now burning down into soft grey ash. The rain outside seems to have softened its rhythm even further, becoming a delicate. The window pane is a dark, wet canvas, streaked with the reflections of the room's single light, the glowing filaments of the lamp blurring and stretching into long, wavering lines of gold. Your gaze is unfocused, drifting. You notice things you were too busy to see before, the way the shadows of the glassware on the shelves stretch and merge on the wall behind them, creating a fantastic, distorted cityscape of towers and spires. The faint, sweet smell of old paper from the notebooks stacked in the corner, their pages filled with a decade of formulas, of failures and triumphs, their ink slowly fading. You can smell the cool mineral scent of the stone walls, a scent that speaks of the earth, of stability, of the deep foundations of the old building, and woven through it all, that glorious soporific perfume, which has now fully integrated itself into the atmosphere of the room, as if it has always been here. Your eyelids are growing heavy, so very heavy. It feels as if small, smooth stones have been placed upon them. It is becoming everything worth seeing is already imprinted on your mind, and more vividly present in the scents that fill the air. The bergamot is a fading memory of a bright, clear afternoon. The rose is a deep, warm dream of a secret garden at dusk. The sandalwood is the feeling of the solid earth beneath you. Safe and unmoving, the world does not disappear. The darkness behind your eyelids is not empty. It is a deep, velvety black, the colour of the cobalt bottle you now hold. The sounds of the room become clearer, more intimate. The low, thrumming purr of the distiller is a vibration you can feel in your chest, a steady, calming mantra. The gentle hiss of the rain is a soft brush against your ear, washing away everything else. You can hear the almost imperceptible creak of the old building as it settles, the sound of ancient timbers breathing in the damp night air. It is the sound of safety, of a strong and sturdy shelter that has weathered 100 years of storms. A profound warmth spreads through your body, starting from your chest and radiating outward, down your arms, into your hands, down your legs, to the very tips of your toes. It is the warmth of the distiller, the warmth of the sealed perfume, the warmth of your own slowing blood. You feel yourself sinking, not falling, but being gently lowered into a deep, soft featherbed. Every muscle is loose. Every joint is free. Your head feels heavy on your neck, and you allow it to loll slightly to one side, a final surrender to gravity and to exhaustion. You are floating now, untethered, in this warm, dark, fragrant space. The boundary between your body and the room begins to blur. The scent of sandalwood feels like your own skin. The rhythm of the rain feels like your own heartbeat. The gentle warmth of the air feels like your own breath. You are no longer the perfumer in the laboratory. You are the laboratory. You are the stillness. You are the scent of sleep itself, contained and peaceful, waiting for the dawn that feels a lifetime away. The last coherent thought that drifts through your mind is not a thought at all, but a feeling, a deep, profound, and unshakable sense of peace. The potion is complete, and it has already begun its gentle, silent work. The world outside, with its worries and its noise, is a forgotten rumour, here, and the slow, inevitable, and welcome descent into a deep and dreamless sleep. The quiet alchemy has succeeded, not in a beaker, but within you. Your hand, steady and practiced, cradles the cool, round belly of the Florentine flask, the glass worn smooth by time and careful use. With a gentle, deliberate motion of your wrist, you begin to swirl the contents within, a final, reverent gesture to unite the elements you have so carefully gathered. The amber liquid, a rich tapestry of oils and essences, begins to move, at first with a reluctant slowness, then catching a quiet momentum, rising up the curved glass walls in a silent silken vortex. You watch, mesmerized, as the golden threads of sandalwood oil weave themselves into the lighter, sunnier notes of bergamot, and as the deep velvet heart of the Bulgarian Rose essence pulses at the center of the whirlpool, a slow and steady beat in this liquid universe you hold so carefully in your palm. The sound is almost imperceptible, a soft liquid whisper against the glass, a faint fey shush, 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 fey, a secret shared between you and this sleeping potion, a lullaby composed of scent and motion. This is the final act of creation, the culmination of a long and patient night spent in your quiet sanctuary. The world outside your attic laboratory has long since fallen into a deep and profound slumber, hushed by the persistent, gentle rain that drums its soft, muted rhythm upon the slate tiles of your sloping roof. It is a sound that has become the steady heartbeat of your work tonight, a constant and comforting presence that insulates you from the sleeping city below. The rain trickles down the window pane, blurring the distant sleeping lights of Montmartre into soft, indistinct blooms of gold. Each droplet a tiny lens distorting the world into a dreamlike abstraction. You are entirely alone and entirely at peace, here in your alchemist's den, surrounded by the ghosts of fragrances past and the promise of the one that now settles in your hand. As you continue the slow, circular motion, you can feel the subtle shift in the liquid's viscosity, the sign that the molecules are binding, that the individual notes are surrendering their sharp edges to become part of a seamless, harmonious whole. The aroma rising from the unstoppered neck of the flask has changed too. It is no longer just rose or sandalwood or bergamot, but something deeper, more complex and resonant. It is the scent of a moonlit garden after a rainfall, the scent of ancient leather, bound books in a quiet library, the scent of warm, clean skin, and the promise of a deep, untroubled rest. Your breathing deepens, your shoulders, which you hadn't even realized were tense, begin to drop as you inhale this profound tranquility. The swirling slows, the vortex gently unwinds, and the liquid settles into a state of perfect shimmering stillness. The colour is that of the richest honey, or perhaps of ancient amber, holding a spark of the evening's last light within its core. The potion is complete. It is time to seal it, to protect its ephemeral magic until it is needed. Its surface is polished to a soft sheen, and its brass hinges are tarnished with age. You reach for it, your fingers tracing the familiar grain of the wood before lifting the delicate latch. The lid opens with a soft, satisfying fey click, revealing a treasure trove nestled in deep, dark blue velvet. Inside, an array of glass stoppers rests in custom, moulded indentations, each one a small work of art. There are simple, spherical ones, tall, faceted ones that look like crystallized teardrops and flat discs, like ones etched with intricate patterns. You let your eyes drift over them, considering the final touch for your creation. Your fingers hover over a particularly beautiful stopper, a sphere of dark, smoky quartz, but you pass it by. Not this time. Your gaze finally settles on a simple, elegant one, made of ground glass, its dauber long and slender, designed to fit the neck of the Florentine flask perfectly. It feels correct, unpretentious, functional, and beautiful in its quiet simplicity. You lift it from its velvet bed. The glass cool and heavy. Its surface is frosted from the grinding process, soft to the touch, and you know it will create a perfect airtight seal. Holding the precious flask in one hand and the stopper in the other, you bring them together. With a gentle, twisting pressure, you push it home. There is no loud pop, no jarring noise, but rather a soft, deep thump as the air is displaced, and the two surfaces grind together to form a perfect union. It is the sound of a secret being safely kept. The scent of sleep is now captured, held in suspended animation within its amber prison. Wait, you hold the sealed bottle up to the gentle flickering light of the gas lamp. The flame casts dancing, golden highlights across the curved glass, making the liquid inside seem to glow with a life of its own. It is beautiful, a small, perfect world of calm contained in your hand. You feel a quiet sense of pride, of deep and peaceful satisfaction. This is not a perfume for the waking world, not for coquetry or commerce. This is a private magic, a gift of silence and stillness. Now it needs a name, or rather, a mark. You place the flask carefully upon the workbench, its base settling onto the wood with a soft, solid faithling. You then open a small, flat drawer in the desk, the wood sliding smoothly in its groove. The drawer releases a faint, dry scent of old paper and cedar. Inside are stacks of small, cream-coloured parchment labels and a tiny, cobalt blue pot of ink, alongside a single, slender pen with a fine metal nib. You select one label, its edges deckled and soft. You dip the very tip of the nib into the ink, a tiny, perfect sphere of midnight blue clinging to the metal. You pause, your hand hovering over the parchment, and in the quiet of the room, you decide against words. Words are for the conscious mind. For definition, this creation is for the space beyond thought. Instead, with a few sure strokes, you draw a simple, elegant symbol, a slim, waxing crescent moon, cradling a single tiny star. The ink flows from the nib in a smooth, dark line, sinking into the fibres of the paper. It is a symbol of the liminal space between dusk and dawn, a signifier of quiet hopes and peaceful dreams. You watch for a moment as the ink begins to dry, its wet sheen dulling to a soft matte finish. Then, using a small brush, you apply a thin layer of adhesive to the back of the label and press it gently onto the belly of the flask. It adheres instantly, a pale sigil on a field of gold. Your work is done. The laboratory, which had been a place of gentle, focused activity, now begins to settle into a deeper state of repose around you. The first order of this new stillness is to tend to the source of the evening's warmth and gentle sound. You rise from your stool and walk over to the brass alembic, the distiller that has been murmuring its soft, bubbling song all night long. The low blue flame of the spirit lamp has been its heart, and now it is time to let that heart rest. You pick up the small brass snuffer, its long handle cool in your hand. You lower the small cup over the wick, and with a final, soft fate-fi, the flame vanishes, plunging the corner of the room into a deeper, softer shadow. The silence that follows is profound, the gentle gurgle, and into that new, deeper quiet. The other sounds of the night expand to fill the space. The rain on the roof seems to slow its tempo, each drop now a distinct, Soft fate pat fay against the slates. You can hear the rhythmic fay drip. The old building sighs around you, a low woody creak as the timbers settle, a sound like a great sleeping beast shifting in its slumber. You begin the slow, meditative process of cleaning your tools. You take the long glass pipette you used earlier, its interior still coated with a thin, iridescent film of amber oil. You carry it to the small stone basin in the corner, turning the brass tap. Cool water flows out with a soft, splashing sound, and you rinse the pipette, watching as the water turns momentarily cloudy before running clear. You take a soft, linen cloth and carefully dry the glass, polishing it until it shines, the friction making a faint, high-pitched fay-squeak fay that is sharp but not unpleasant in the deep quiet. You place the clean pipette back into its velvet, lined case, nestling it into its resting place with a gentle touch. You do the same with the glass beaker, washing away the last traces of the essential oils, the water carrying with it a final fleeting ghost of rose and sandalwood before it disappears down the drain. Each tool is cleaned, dried, and returned to its proper home. The workbench, once a stage for your careful alchemy, is now clear and ordered. This act of restoring order is deeply calming. You move back to the tall wooden stool, but instead of sitting, you simply lean against the workbench, folding your arms. You are no longer the creator, the alchemist, the perfumer. Your gaze drifts around the room, your eyes slowly adjusting to the deepening gloom now that the distiller's flame is out. The single gas lamp on your desk is the sole source of light, and it burns with a steady, unwavering flame, casting a warm, honeyed glow across the immediate vicinity and throwing the rest of the room into a landscape of long, soft-edged shadows. The hundreds of bottles that line the shelves seem to recede into the darkness, their glass surfaces catching the faint light in 1,000 tiny gleaming points, like a captured constellation of distant stars. They are a silent audience. These bottles, each one holding a memory, a season, a landscape captured in scent. Tonight, you are not looking at any one thing in particular, but rather taking in the entire scene as a whole. The way the light pools on the polished surface of your desk, illuminating the dark grain of the wood, the way the shadows of the beakers and flasks stretch across the wall, their shapes elongated and distorted into fantastic, gentle creatures. A dust mote, invisible only moments before, catches the light and drifts lazily through the air, a tiny golden spark on a slow, aimless journey. You follow its path with your eyes until it disappears back into the darkness, and you feel your own thoughts begin to drift with that same sense of unhurried calm. Your awareness turns inward, to the sensations of your own body. You can feel the solid, unyielding pressure of the wooden workbench against your back, grounding you. You notice the weight of your own arms folded across your chest. You become aware of the texture of your white lab coat, the soft, warm cotton against your skin. You feel the cool air of the room on your face and hands, a coolness that is made all the more pleasant by the lingering ambient warmth from the now cooling brass distiller. Your breathing, which had already slowed, you can still smell the finished perfume, the deep, woody base of sandalwood, the gentle, floral heart of rose, the faint, uplifting memory of bergamot, but it has now mingled with the other scents of your sanctuary. There is the damp, earthy smell of the rain, soaked city, a clean, petrichor scent that drifts in through the minuscule gaps in the window frame. There is the dry, papery scent of the old books on your shelves, and the faint, resinous perfume of the wooden beams overhead. It is a complex and deeply comforting aroma. Your eyelids are beginning to feel heavy, like velvet curtains slowly drawing closed. You do not fight the feeling. You welcome it. You let them droop, the flickering gas lamp and the gleaming bottles dissolving into a soft, blurry haze. The world seen through the line between you and the room begins to blur. The rhythmic fay drip. Drip, drip. Fay of the rain from the eaves is no longer just a sound you are hearing. It feels like a slow, steady pulse within your own chest. A metronome guiding your heart to a slower, more peaceful rhythm. Your body, a pleasant, leaden sensation spreads through your limbs, starting in your feet, which feel firmly planted on the floorboards, and moving slowly upward, through your legs, into your hips, up your spine. Your arms, still folded, are a comfortable weight, and your head feels heavy on your neck, ready to be surrendered to a soft pillow. You push yourself away from the bench with a final slow movement and turn toward the small, simple cot that waits for you in the darkest corner of the room. It is little more than a mattress on a wooden frame, but it is piled high with a thick feather duvet and soft wool blankets. It looks like a cloud of comfort, a nest waiting. You do not bother to undress completely, simply shrugging off the white lab coat and letting it fall onto the back of a chair. You slip off your shoes, your stockinged feet silent on the cool wood. The cot sighs as you sit on its edge, and it groans softly as you swing your legs up and sink back into the mattress. The feeling is one of absolute surrender. You pull the heavy duvet up over you, its weight a comforting pressure, a secure and gentle embrace. It cocoons you in warmth, chasing away the last of the night's chill. The scent of clean linen mingles with the perfumed air of the room, creating a final perfect aroma for your descent into sleep. You lie on your back, your head sinking into the soft pillow, and your gaze drifts toward the sloping ceiling. Through the skylight, you can no longer see the stars, only a uniform deep grey softened by the endless gentle rain. The sound is softer now, a muffled, soothing fish that seems to emanate from all around you. It is the sound of the world being washed clean. It is the sound of the flickering light of the gas lamp casts a single dancing shadow on the ceiling, a soft grey shape that sways back and forth, in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. You watch it for a time, your focus growing softer and softer, your thoughts becoming more and more fragmented, like wisps of smoke dissolving into the air. The scent of the sandalwood seems to be wrapping around you like a warm blanket. The memory of the rose is a soft colour blooming behind your closed eyelids. The rhythm of the rain is the rhythm of your own slow, deep and steady breath. Everything is slowing down. The world is receding. The small laboratory in Montmartre, your safe haven, your secret world, begins to dissolve into the warm, comfortable darkness behind your eyes. There are no more tasks to complete, no more thoughts to think, no more movements to make. There is only this deep, profound stillness. There is only the feeling of being held, of being safe, of being completely and utterly at rest. The gentle rain continues its lullaby, a promise that you are sheltered and secure, and that you can let. There is nothing required of you now except to drift, to float, to fall into the deep, restorative, and dreamless sleep that you have so carefully prepared. Rest now